Man, I hope this fucking camera stays. Sorry about this shitty angle you're gonna get for this review, but Gabriel has to go. It's fucking 1:40 a.m. Can you blame me that this is how I have to review it? It's 1:40 a.m. Like, if I review this movie any other way, you know, my ass would be fucking getting home at 2, and I'd rather drive home now. Gabriel already had to leave. His brother's gonna be here in a few minutes, so it's like, we did not have time for a spoiler review. I'm gonna give you guys the drive to either home, or if I decide to pick up food, where I pick up food, and I'm gonna tell you my non-spoiler thoughts. You can listen to them, and if the car rumbles in the audio, fuck do I apologize, because I have a lot to say here, and I really want to get into it, so please just listen to it. If it's horrible audio, you can wait to the spoiler review, but I have a lot to say, getting out at 10:30 p.m. on the opening night showing, or not getting out, going to the 10:30 p.m. on the opening showing, getting out at 1:30 a.m., because this is a nearly damn 3-hour movie, and we did stay through the whole credits and walk out, so it is now 1:40 as I'm in my car, and fucking Christ, do I have a lot to say about it. So here we go. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is probably, not even probably, it for sure is my favorite movie of Phase 4 after just anything with thought. This is our this is our last movie of Phase 4, as I believe it was confirmed that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is going to be the start in terms of films to be our first in Phase 5. And then we're going to build quickly, I believe, into Phase 6, ending the Infinity Saga, or does Phase 6 end on, or is Phase 5 the ending of, not the Infinity Saga, the Multiverse Saga that we are in right now? Not sure. But Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is an excellent fucking movie. It took so much to get here, honestly. And honestly, it's just like impressive that Ryan Coogler managed to make this good of a movie with the task he was given. The task being that Chadwick Boseman has tragically passed away. Damn. It's really crazy to think that this is now nearly, or was it over 2 years ago? Holy shit. It's crazy to think that. And it's truly tragic. And it still hits like any time I think about it. Like, he was just the perfect Black Panther. He was so young. There's just so much there that really still doesn't correlate to my mind. But damn, was it just like a hard time to go through. And the task and the idea of like, do we recast him? Do we replace him? How do we write it? Because he already had the finished script written for Black Panther 2 before Chadwick's passing. And obviously having to change up very in the middle of this and having to be the guy to do this task and take on at the mantle of director is probably one of the scariest fucking things I think I've ever seen. I would have been terrified to take on this task, in all honesty. And I think that with that task and having to rewrite the film and taking ideas that are in this film, at times the film is not perfect. I'm not going to say this is a perfect movie, nor was it a perfect Marvel movie. I think it is a amazing movie and a really fucking good Marvel movie. And I think overall people are going to have to eventually just realize, like, if you watch this film not as a Marvel movie, if you straight up just saw the first Black Panther and this might be just a film that you adore the fuck out of, because it's great. It's actually great. My phone's sliding from that aggressive turn. It's great without having to have your knowledge of Marvel. If you don't know a lot about Marvel, you could theoretically go see this film, just at least have the knowledge of the first one, and 98% of the film you will easily understand and find quite beautiful. Because this movie is not just about dealing with grief in an entrapped society after the pass of the Thanos snap, which is what apparently the plot, more so the first one, was going to be when it was about Chadwick Boseman. But in top of that, and they mentioned it a few times near the Thanos snap, but now that we have the passing of a real-life actor, the person who played King T'Challa, and, you know, fucking absolutely nailed that role, Chadwick Boseman, and his passing, it very much changes the film and its aspect that it has to go for. Now they're not just grieving after the Thanos snap and the world that combined their civilization down to a crisp, and these new fucking people are coming out from a new civilization that is not on the surface land, the Talokan, which I'll get into a little bit in here, but I want to talk about more of them in spoilers, because that's really where you can talk about them. And it's just such a hard film to sit through, and not in a bad way. It's just like your mind is going to constantly draw yourself to the real life idea of Chadwick Boseman being gone. And the film honors Chadwick Boseman as the character of King T'Challa, but you can tell that the actors, when they are just in those scenes, are clearly dealing with the actual emotional trauma of having lost a friend and the original, Black Panther. Like, this is him. Like, it was his fucking role. And, like, I'm glad they didn't replace him. I know there's a lot of people on the replace the actor team. It's a little too soon for that. And honestly, I think, like, you could say, oh, they could just make the movie a few years later and let it die down. But then I realized, like, this is his role. And I know, in a lot of ways, even Chadwick Boseman's, like, actual family members that came out and said, like, I don't believe he would have been egotistical about it. I think he would have wanted another person to play the role. But I don't think it's right. And I think Ryan Coogler and a lot of the people realize, like, he was our Black Panther. Like, he was our King T'Challa. At minimum, to say he was our King T'Challa. Because they can have a new Black Panther in almost any regard. But this movie is titled Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And the Black Panther isn't really the entire underlying focus. When you watch this movie, your build-up, even though it's exciting, is not like, oh, who's the new Black Panther? Oh, where is this going to go? Most of your excitement and interest in the movie comes from those quiet scenes. The ones where it is silent. And I tell you, my theater, 98% of it, was really respectful. I heard a few giggles at, like, awkward times. I'm like, hey, you shouldn't be laughing. But most of the time, the theater was respectful and silent. I shit you not. The opening Marvel logo and opening credits and the fucking full introduction of the movie, pure silence in that theater. You could maybe hear sniffles scattered, but it was just the most beautiful thing I have seen in a while in a theater. Like, the fact that I went to a mainstream theater like AMC at a fucking mall on IMAX opening night, you would think this would be a ratty crowd and would not find a way to control their manner, but they did. It was, like, absolutely the experience I would have exactly wanted, and I got it, and I'm very happy that I got it. Perhaps that's because I went to the 10:30 showtime. Usually the 6 p.m. showtimes where all the main people go to see it when they have the time is here, but my theater was almost sold out, and it still was a very calm theater, so maybe the sold-out theater at 6:45 in IMAX was rowdy, but I'm not sure. I feel like this movie is going to have people in their seats honoring and respecting what truly is the film you watched, because it is a beautiful film, and I think a lot of people will keep in mind that. I don't think a lot of people will go against it, is what I would say. Let's get into the real film, because I've been just talking about honoring Chadwick Boseman. That opening scene is great, and what they do multiple times throughout the movie when talking about Chadwick Boseman and honoring him were great, and I truly respect where it went. But this is undoubtedly Shuri's movie, and you could kind of process that from the trailers and put that together, but I just truly have to say that this is Shuri's movie, and it's a bold choice to make, but it's also smart. I was not against it. I just had the idea, like, I don't know how I feel about it, because what we've known of Letitia Wright, and I'm not saying what we know of her in real life, but her character that she played in the first film, Shuri, is kind of a good comedic relief. She's fun, she's organized, she truly has a relationship with her brother that is adorable, I would say so, like the younger sister that she is, and that's what you really have gotten from that first film and a few appearances that she's had here and there. But when you see her in this film, she has to take on a whole different mantle. She is the lead of the film, and she is the person dealing with grief the most differently than everyone else is, with the sorrow and the honoring and the different ways that they can see King T'Challa, such as Angela Bassett's character having this ritual that she does where she can see him if she truly wants to. It is a beautiful thing, but it's beautiful to see how Shuri handles it. She claims she's fine. She holds it deep down in herself, but she claims science over it, and you can tell that this true grief is interfering with her love of science and just all this way of how she could have helped her brother survive, and it's truly weighing in on her, and it's different than I ever thought this movie would go. I didn't think that's necessarily where the movie was gonna go, and it was way deeper than I thought, and fucking Letitia Wright pulls it off. Whether you agree with her politics or her on-set behavior, there's no doubt that you automatically love this character. Like, it's fucking great what they do with her in this movie, and I found it truly beautiful and stunning the entire way through. And Angela Bassett. I'm not going to give anything about her role because I want to get into spoilers if I'm going to talk more about any other role besides Shuri, because it's pretty simple to say she's the key character here. But god fucking damn is Angela Bassett great. There are 2 scenes in particular that I think she will easily, if this movie just builds a teeny bit of buzz, and that first one was a culture phenomenon, I think this film could easily build that buzz, and people would claim, like, holy shit, like, Angela Bassett should get this fucking Oscar nominee. I think she could easily be getting into the award contender season here for supporting actress. Just for the bits that she had, she is amazing. And everyone's great. It's honestly, like, so fucking hard to watch everyone because they're grieving the real-life death of a friend in the movie, and you can tell, like, it's not even portrayed acting on screen. And while it adds more power to the movie, and Chadwick Boseman's death is kind of the driving force of it, it's not disrespectful. There's never a moment where you'll sit there and be like, this just feels wrong. It's not like when you see fucking Ghostbusters Afterlife and at the ending you're like, oh, he shows up in CGI form. What the fuck is that? Like, that will never happen. I'm going to let y'all know that for sure that does not happen. This movie is respectful and keen on what it is doing, and I found it truly fucking great. The action scenes, too, from Ryan Coogler have been improved. I think there are a few moments of visual effects, a few with Namor flying and the wings. Not that the wings are corny, I like the idea of it, but sometimes it looks a little off on CGI. There's a few shots where people are pulled up from a ship that looks a little corny. There's a few times where the background is clearly like the most simple green screen effect to be like, oh, that looks fake as fuck. And at times it happens, but holy shit, none of it looks anywhere near as bad as the first Black Panther movie, when you have like the fucking Spider-Man 3 looking visual effects as they like fight down the train station, the underground train station. It doesn't look that bad, and nor will it ever. And Wakanda is the driving force of this movie. I will say there's a few arcs here, and I'm going to wrap up this review. There's a few arcs here that I don't find necessary, such as the ideas of having the CIA and the agencies and the U.S. government in it. I felt that plot slows down the movie a bit. Maybe like 15 minutes of the plot is taken from that. And I do think we don't get enough time with the Taliban, which I did not get to talk about, but holy shit, they are threatening. The first time they appear on screen, I was like, oh, fuck. Maybe we don't get the threatening appearance all the time, but when they do, you understand why people would be afraid of these characters. So, with that said, I'm going to wrap up the review, because I'm soon going to get home. But I do want to say that this is a great film. It is beautifully directed. The action scenes are improved. It is emotional. I might even personally say I like this more than the first Black Panther. Even though I'll admit the villain is a bit weaker than Michael B. Jordan. I actually think Michael B. Jordan, when I rewatched the film recently, and I can still say, like, his villain is like a peak Marvel villain. He was intense, he was intimidating, but you get where he's coming from. I'm still not 100% justified on the villain in this movie, and those few reasonings can bring down this film a bit. Honestly, it's ideally like on a quality level, like an 8, but I was fucking in for it on the goddamn ride, like a 9. I'm honestly, just as like all together, gonna give this a 9 out of 10. And I'll have more to say in the spoiler review, and maybe that'll make me like rethink my thoughts. I just got out of it, to be fair. But I do have a lot more to say. I'll be seeing the movie again on Saturday, because I have 2 other movies to go to tomorrow. But shit, I would be rewatching this 2 more times, hopefully this weekend. So if you have the chance to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and you do see this review, please leave a comment on your thoughts. I'd love to talk about it, and maybe if after I do a spoiler review, maybe I'll do a live stream discussion if people want to join. Maybe I'll think about it. But yeah, that's honestly all I have to say. Love this goddamn movie. I hope people go check it out, and I hope people enjoy it. It's not perfect, but it is great, and so yeah. That's gonna be the end of my review. Sorry about this wheel being in your face half the fucking review, but you have to deal with it sometimes. Stopping to get food. Alright. So yeah, everyone take care. Please go see this movie when you get the chance, please. And yeah, it's beautiful. If you want to know if I cried twice. There you go. Gabriel also cried. I think Noah got teary-eyed. I think Noah's dad also got teary. I think everyone in the theater had an emotional reaction that was pretty great. And I could see this film, just from at least this audience, getting good word of mouth and praise. I hope this isn't like some shitty situation where people end up not liking it, because I think it's truly great. It is the best Marvel movie I think we've had in a while. And if you were worried about Marvel's quality dropping, I think this is going to be the redemption for you, the audiences, and everyone out there. I think people are going to see that this is Way better than some shit like Black Adam. And I'll say I didn't review Black Adam. I thought Black Adam was fun, but this is truly what I want from a movie. This feels like a movie and not just fucking superhero schlock and the most simplicity cookie cutter shit it could be. I love this movie a lot. And yeah, spoiler review soon. I'm gonna get food and I'm gonna go to bed because it is fucking 2 a.m. Bye.